Welcome to Life Lean In, a podcast that brings you biblical insight and tested tips on living your life to its fullest potential while leaning into the influence you've been given. And now, your host, Pastor Dan Smith.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Life Lean In, episode number 34. Man, today as we get started, I want to ask a question right off the bat because I think there's a lot of people out there, when it comes to God, people think, man, why does God allow bad things to happen? Man, why does God allow bad things to happen, or did he cause it? And so I want to ask that question right off the bat to even give you a chance to respond in the comments or maybe ask a question. Man, why would God allow this, or why would he have this happen? And man, I want to be able to answer that in future podcasts. So I would love your feedback if you'd share it with me. But I do want to give you some particular insight into the character and the nature of God. And it's found in the Bible. It says, don't be misled. This is James 1:16. It says, don't be misled. In other words, man, you might have a thought about God that might not be fully accurate. It says, my dear brothers and sisters, whatever is good and perfect is a gift coming down to us from God, our Father. Now think about that for a second. Anything that is good and perfect is a gift coming down from God, our Father. Now, in contrast, Jesus said that Satan, the enemy of our souls, came to steal, kill, and destroy. But God, Jesus, came to give us life and life abundantly. Do you see the contrast? And so many times I think when we ask the question, why does God allow this to happen, or why did he cause it to happen? It's not actually true. It's not actually accurate that God caused it to happen. And God doesn't tempt us. He doesn't bring on pain. He brings on correction at times that help guide us back to him or guide us back to the right place. But man, everything that's good and perfect it comes from God. Anything that's not that way, it comes from the evil one. It comes from the evil side of even ourselves. When in the very beginning, the Bible says in Genesis that we shook our hands in the face of God, that we were the people who were created by God. And yet we said, man, God, we know better than you. We know how to do it. And the Bible says that sin entered the world. What is sin? Sin is missing the mark or missing out on God's perfection. And honestly, when God created humanity, when he created the heavens and the earth and everything in it, it was perfect. And it will be perfect again. And so that's the reason when sin entered the world, brokenness and hurt and pain and calamity and all sorts of things came with it. God didn't cause it. Satan led people astray, and they followed his bait. And so when the Bible says very clearly that Satan is the author of death, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy, to steal, kill, and destroy. Where you see destruction and theft and brokenness, Satan's leading the charge. It's not God. And in time, God has created a place to deal with sin and with Satan. And so some of the questions you might have is how could a loving God send people to hell? Look, he didn't. I said this a few podcasts before that hell itself was not created for mankind. It was created for Satan and his demons, in a place for it to be for sin to be dealt with. The payment of sin is death, and not just death physically on earth, but death spiritually forever, eternally. And it wasn't created for you and me. It wasn't created for you and I to experience. So you might ask the question then, well, why does a good God who's giving gifts from heaven that are perfect and good, why does a good God send people to hell? The answer is he doesn't. We choose that. He gives us the opportunity to be with him in heaven, in paradise, where the Bible says that every tear is wiped away. There's no pain, no sickness, no disease, no division, no strife, no hurt, no pain, no broken relationships, no struggle. It's literally paradise. It's perfection. And he created that for you. What's the caveat? Will you choose him, or will you choose to go your own way? Will you be swayed by the destruction of Satan and say, man, I don't need God. Man, God is bad. And what you're seeing is there's two different beings. One is good, one is perfect, and one is destructive, and he wants to tear your life apart. The choice is yours. Why does a good God allow bad things to happen? He doesn't cause it. He doesn't bring it. But it can be a defining moment for you to choose which way you're going to go. And so I want to ask you that question. Which way have you gone? Because I promise you, God is loving, compassionate, merciful. He gives life and life abundantly if you'll seek him. It's up to you. And so I want to come back to this topic. In the weeks to come, I want to get real and raw. I want to reach out to you and say, hey, where is it where you think you've seen God maybe lead you astray, or where you think God has broken you down or hurt you? Let's talk about it. Let's find out who God really is. And let's go there together. Because here's the deal. None of us are perfect. We're all in process. We're trying to figure it out. We're on this journey of life and faith. And so I want to invite you into the conversation. I want to ask for your thoughts and for your stories, for your questions. Bring it on. Share it with a friend if you know that they might need to hear this, or they might glean something from it. I want to invite you into the conversation. It's a conversation, an honest one, a raw one. Let's go into it together. You can subscribe to this podcast on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you digest this content. And if it's helpful and you like it, or you think someone benefit, share it with a friend. But we're all on this journey together. So never stop learning, never stop growing, and keep leaning in.